Okay, so let's talk yoga. So let's come to a comfortable seat. It looks like most folks are. And if you sit up on a block or your bolster or a blanket, it might be a little easier to get your spine straight. So we're gonna just straighten our spine, roll your shoulders back and down. Just rest your hands anywhere they feel comfortable, okay? The crown of your head is pointing towards the ceiling, nice long neck. Let's take a few deep breaths in and then sigh out your out breath. Just take a few rounds on your own time. Big deep breath in. Sigh it out. Try to make your out breath just a count longer than your in breath. And now just return your breath to your normal rhythm. And I'm just going to share a little something with you today that I saw that just reminded me of this beautiful spring weather. Also reminded me of a scripture verse, which I don't know many of, but I do know this one. So, but this is just a quote by Rachel Carson. Those who contemplate the beauty of the earth find reserves of strength that will endure as long as life lasts. There is something infinitely healing in the repeated refrains of nature. The assurance that dawn comes after night and spring after winter. That always reminds me, when we say, spring always comes after winter, there's always that hope. It reminds me of the Bible verse that says, there may be pain in the night, but joy comes in the morning. And that always gave me such hope, that no matter how cold and blustery and dreary the day is, there's always going to be a spring day coming. So maybe we can keep that in mind today, just the circle of life, how nature takes a break in the wintertime and really it's a time of reflection and a time of looking inward. It's a big inhale, right? So spring is a big exhale. We get to expand and enjoy all the beautiful things that have been asleep all winter. So let's keep that in mind today while we practice just circle of life. Let's bring our hands together at our heart. We're going to chant the sound of Om together, okay? On an inhale. And exhale, we'll chant Om. I'm going to put mine on you. Alright, so go ahead and remove your block if you'd like to. Let's move into Gomukhasana, cow face pose, like we've done a few times before. So with your bottom leg, your left leg bent, point your knee towards the front of the mat, and cross your right leg over your left leg so both your knees are stacked on top of each other, or as close as you can come to that shape, okay? So your spine is nice and tall. Both of your sits bones are on the ground if possible. And raise your right arm up into the air, big reach. And then reach under with your left hand and see if you can grab the fingertips of your right hand. Be sure to breathe.
The mask comes in handy.
This is called cow face pose for some reason under the sun, I don't know. Big stretch. Here's your IT band, Midge, too. You can feel that one right on your right hip. One more breath here. Now release your arms and place your left hand on your right knee. Right hand on the floor behind you and take a big twist to the right. Look out over that right shoulder.
Right shoulder.
Right shoulder.
Right.
She got it right. Patty, look toward me.
Three.
Patty.
Now let's come back to center and we'll swap legs. We're going to bend our right leg underneath us and our left leg on top. Reach your left arm up in the air, right arm behind you. And join your fingertips at the center of your back if you can with your spine straight. A lot of instructions there. Be sure and breathe. Breathe in and out. Tish, our theme for the day is the circle of life. Winter into spring. Hope after darkness. Now untwist your arms. Place your right hand on your left knee and take a big twist to the left.
Yeah. now.
Breathe.
Look at me now. There you go.
Oh, okay.
And back to center. So now we're going to do fire log pose. This is another big hip opener. Not necessarily your IT band, but good for opening your hips. So you want to place your shins on top of each other, perfectly straight across the front of your body if you can, okay? One right on top of the other. So it's not really an Indian pose because your ankles aren't crossed, okay? So as close as you can get to that shape. We're going to inhale up and exhale. We're going to fold out over our legs, and you can feel that big stretch in your hips. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And breathe into the tight spots. I think we talked about that a lot. When you feel that tightness, try to relax the tightness and breathe into that spot. One more breath here. Alright, and push yourself back up to seated, and then we'll swap legs. Put the other leg on top this time. So for me, that's left leg on top. Shins on top of each other. Big inhale up. And exhale, fold forward. Breathe. Come back up to center. And now let's spread our legs out really wide, as wide as you can. I know it's early in the class to be doing such a big stretch. And this time we're gonna try to sit up straight, sits bones are grounded. We're gonna twist to the right and reach for that right foot. And what I'm trying to do is bring my heart to my leg, not necessarily my head, but my heart. So it's more of an extension out over my leg, okay? And I'm gonna breathe. I can grab anywhere on my leg that feels comfortable to help hold myself there. And then I'm gonna walk my fingertips around to the left side and lower my chest to the left leg now. Remember, relax into that hamstring. I know it feels tight right now. Just come back to a seated position and extend your legs out in front of you. And let's take one big fold forward, Paschimottanasana. So we'll take a big inhale up. Exhale out over our legs. Grab your feet, maybe the outside edges of your feet, and see if you can pull yourself down to just where you start to feel a stretch. And after a few breaths, you can go a little deeper maybe on your exhale. Find your edge and move past it when you can. Come back to seated. And now bend your right leg and place your foot inside your left thigh. We'll take a big inhale up. And we'll fold out over that leg for just a beat or two. And then we'll rise and place your right hand on the floor behind that bent leg. And sweep your arm up for stargazer. Big stretch, big full body stretch. So I'm resting on my right knee. I'm looking behind me at the wall. Breathe. And come back down. So extend your right leg. And we'll bend our left leg now and place it on our inner right thigh. And we'll sweep our left hand behind our left bent leg. And then raise up on that left knee for stargazer on this side. Breathe. So while we're here, we'll go ahead and do boat pose while we're down here on the floor. Everybody's least favorite pose, at least it's one of my least favorite, but I do it.
Next to get it done early.
We'll get it over with, that's it. So this is Savasana, boat pose, okay? So rock back onto your sits bones, or onto your tailbone, really, it's more your tailbone. You can leave your legs bent, you can leave your hands right here on the back of your legs if you feel like you need the support. Roll your shoulders back and down, open your heart. If you want to extend your hands out, you can. Breathe. Engage your core, as if you could do it without engaging your core. So let's take an inhale and go for low boat.
Okay.
Exhale, high boat. Inhale, low boat. Exhale, high boat. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And let's just stay here for just a count or two. Awesome. Okay, feet on the floor. So let's kind of maybe roll over your feet or swing your legs out to the side, and we'll come into tabletop position, which is all fours. And we'll do a couple of stretches here. So we're going to move into cat and cow, and patty cat and cow is a good, nice stretch for your back and your shoulders, okay? So we're going to take an inhale, and when we inhale, we're going to send our head and our hips towards the ceiling and our belly towards the floor, okay? Like a cow, like a sway back cow. And on our exhale, we're going to turn into a scary kitty cat. We're going to push the floor away from us and round our shoulders. Exhale, kitty cat. Inhale, cow pose. And exhale, cat pose. So take a few rounds at your own pace there, whatever feels good for you. One more round of that, and then meet me back in a neutral spine. So start to put your weight into your left hand, and bring your right hand towards the ceiling. Big inhale, and exhale, thread the needle. Bring your arm through and rest on that right shoulder. If you push the floor away with your left hand, you get a nice twist in your spine. Breathe. We'll come back onto all fours. Now we'll do that on the other side. We'll lift our left leg way up to the ceiling. Big twist, open your shoulders, open your heart. And exhale, thread the needle on the side. Push with that right hand. So that you get a nice spinal twist. Another breath here. And come back onto all fours. So now I want you to come all the way down onto your belly. So lay flat on the floor with your forehead on the floor. Okay. Extend your arms out to a T. Now bend your right arm so that you have your hand under your shoulder. We're going to roll onto the left side with that left arm extended into a T. So we stretch out the front of that shoulder a lot. There you go, Patty. Push on your right, push on your bent arm. Extend your left arm out.
Okay, left arm of this.
No, out to the side. There you go. Now push with your right hand and kind of roll over onto that shoulder a little bit.
The left shoulder, right shoulder.
The left one.
Left.
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Big stretch in your shoulder. Take a few breaths here. Sort of a move that you don't often make in your everyday life, so it's probably going to feel tight. Front of your shoulder doesn't get a lot of stretching. Come back to center. Okay, now listen closely. Extend your right arm out to a T. Put your left hand under your left shoulder. Push with that left hand and roll onto your right shoulder. And come back to center. So with your hands under your shoulders, curl your toes, and we'll push up into plank position. We'll Hold that for just a second. Push the ground away from you. Spread your fingers. Your hands are directly under your shoulders. Take a few breaths here. Now shift your weight back into downward facing dog. First one of the day. The hips are towards the ceiling. And walk your dog out a little bit. Get some space in the back of your legs. Shift forward into plank. Engage your core. And then back into downward facing dog. Look forward at the top of your mat to see where you're going. And step or hop to the top of your mat. This is where I take off my sweatshirt, which I do not need right now. So let's just hang here for a second. In Uttanasana, full forward fold. You can grab your elbows, either elbow, and sway back and forth a little bit. Stretch out your back and your hamstrings. And now on an inhale, we're going to rise up for tall mountain. Big inhale, reach for the ceiling.
Little back bend at the top. Exhale, cactus arms. Inhale, reach for the ceiling.
Exhale, swan dive out over your legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, place your hands next to your feet and step back into plank position. There you go. Lower all the way down to the floor. Push your upper body up into Bhujangasana, baby cobra. Big inhale. Exhale, forward. Now downward facing dog once again. We'll flow through that one more time, okay? So look to the top of your mat and step or hop to the top. Alright. We'll take a big inhale up towards the ceiling.
Tall mountain. Exhale, cactus arms. Inhale, tall mountain.
This time, hands in prayer through your heart center, Uttanasana. Full forward fold. Halfway lift. Full forward fold. Exhale. Step back into plank position. Exhale, lower all the way to the floor. Inhale, Bhujangasana. Baby cobra. Exhale, head to the floor. And downward facing dog. Everybody with me? Downward facing dog. Great. Now lift your right leg high and bring your knee into your nose for cheetah. Shift your weight forward a little bit. Then lift that right leg high again for three-legged dog. And bring your knee into your nose. And step that right foot through. So now we're in runner's lunge. Okay, our hands are either side of our foot. Plant your left hand. Reach your right hand up to the ceiling. Nice big stretch. Now pivot onto the outside edge of that back foot and reach for the back wall. Fallen warrior. And back to runner's lunge. Now hop the back foot in just a tiny bit to give you some stability. We're going to rise up for crescent lunge. Awesome. Got it. Now we're going to swing our right arm back. This is the bent leg side, right? Twisting crescent lunge. And back to crescent. Now hands together at the heart. And hook that left elbow on the outside of the right knee for twisting prayer crescent lunge. Don't forget to breathe. And hands back to the mat. Back to downward facing dog. And let's take a little rest there. Just take a few breaths, and then we'll do that on the other side. Lift your left leg high. And shift forward, knee to nose, cheetah. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, cheetah. One more time, three-legged dog. Exhale, step your foot forward for low runner's lunge on this side. Plant your right hand and lift your left arm up towards the ceiling. And come back down to runner's lunge. And we're going to rise up for crescent lunge with the left leg bent. Okay. And we're going to open to the left. Our right arm is forward. Go back to here. And back to crescent. And hands back to the floor. And back to downward facing dog. So let's lift our right leg high. And step through for low runner's lunge again. Our right foot is forward, left foot is back. Hop your back foot in just a little bit, 45-degree angle, and we'll rise up for warrior one. Perfect, yeah, that's it. Hands up next to your ears if you can. Just take a minute to catch your breath. And bring your hands around behind your back. Clasp your hands together. Open your heart. And bow forward for humble warrior. And rise back up for warrior one. Hands to the floor. Back to downward facing dog. This time lift your left leg high, three-legged dog. Step your left foot forward. Set up your back foot for warrior one. And rise to meet me in warrior one with your left leg forward. Big inhale as we reach towards the ceiling. Exhale, clasp your hands behind your back. Shoulders open, heart open, and bow forward for humble warrior. Okay, let's rise back to warrior one. Hands to the floor. Step back into plank position. And let's just lower to the floor and take a little rest. Take a beat, catch your breath. One more breath here. All right. Now meet me back in downward facing dog. You can move through plank to downward facing dog, or you can just go straight to down dog. We're going to look towards the front of our mat and step or hop there. And my knees are bent. I'm going to rise into chair pose, Utkatasana. So at the top of my mat in chair pose. Bring my hands together at the heart. I'm going to hook that elbow over my right knee. Push your palms together. It gives you a really good spinal twist that way. You can open out your arms if you want to and reach for the floor and reach for the ceiling, 6 and 12.
TikTok.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say it. Hands back together at the heart. Back to chair pose. And let's twist to the left this time. Lift your right elbow over your left knee. Open out your arms if you want to. And hands back together at the heart. And now let's just come into full forward fold and give our legs a rest, okay? Utkatasana. Chair pose is a toughie. So now we're in Uttanasana, which is forward fold, stretching out our legs. So when we rise, we're going to bend our knees again and come back into chair pose. Here for just a second. Bring your hands to your heart. Put your weight into your left foot and rise up with your standing on my left foot, my right foot is raised. Knees at a 90-degree angle for staff pose. You can extend your leg, that's great. Try to focus on something that doesn't move. Ooh, Patty, that was good. 3. Now we're going to try to move through that. Extend your arms out behind you for airplane pose. Stare at something that doesn't move. Shoulders are back. And start to pick up your body again. Hands at your heart. And bring that ankle onto your knee. For figure 4. Awesome. And unravel and just come to stand again. Shift the legs out a little bit if you need to. You find it easier to stand on the floor than the mat?
Yeah.
Sometimes the squishy doesn't help with balance.
Yeah.
It's better to be on something firm. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm that way too. Like, and people want to do yoga outside in the grass. I'm like, I can't balance in the grass. I have to have a hard surface. So anyway, let's take an inhale, and we'll sink down into chair pose again. Take a breath here. Hands together at your heart. Put your weight into your right foot and start to push through that. For staff pose with the left leg at a 90-degree angle to the floor. Extend your leg if you can. Awesome, yay. Okay. Now move through that into airplane pose. Take your time. Arms out behind you, shoulders back and down. Through, hands back at the heart, and we'll cross that left leg and rest our ankle on our right foot. On our right knee. You knew what I meant. Shoulders back and down. And let's unravel. Whew. Give your ankles a little rolling around there, because I know that's tough on your ankles when you're putting all your weight on one side. It's not always real comfortable. So let's just take a minute to get grounded on our mats. Get our balance back. Take a few deep breaths. So from the top of our mats now, we're going to step back into Warrior 2. Our right foot is going to go back. Our left foot is going to stay forward. So we're going to step back for Warrior 2. So my back foot is pointing towards the long side of my mat. My front knee is bent. And my arms are out over my legs. Looking out over my front hand. Let's take a breath here. On our next inhale, let's reverse the warrior. And on our exhale, rest your elbow on your front knee and reach for the ceiling for side angle. Let's flow through that a few times. Let's do reverse warrior, inhale, exhale, side angle. Inhale, reverse warrior, extended side angle. And come back to Warrior 2. Straighten out your front knee. And let's reverse the triangle. So inhale with your front knee straight. Exhale, arms back to Warrior 2 arms. Shift your weight towards the front of the room. And place your hands at 6 o'clock and 12 o'clock.
That's why you're smiling.
With your front knee straight. This is triangle pose, Trikonasana. Look up at your hand if you can. Take a breath. Now we're gonna shift so that we're pointing towards the front of our mat. So I'm gonna pivot my back foot so it's facing towards the front, just like my front foot is. And I'm gonna place my hands either side of that front foot. Okay, so this is pyramid pose. My hips should be even, not one jacked up in the air. Pyramid pose. Both legs should be straight. If you need to bend them, that's cool. Whatever you need to do to make it comfortable for you. My head is moving towards my left leg. Pyramid pose. This one can be a killer. One more breath here. And just step that right foot to the top of the mat to meet your left. And we'll hang here for a minute and stretch out our hamstrings. Big inhale, rise up tall, mountain. And stay there at the heart. So now we're going to do that sequence on the other side. So we'll leave our right foot forward and we'll step our left foot back for warrior two. Okay, so just take a few breaths here, get the feel of it, get your feet grounded. And then inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, side angle. Let's flow through that 2 more times. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, side angle. Reverse warrior. And side angle. Wonderful. Then bring your arms back to warrior two position. Straighten out your front knee. And we'll reverse your triangle. And on the exhale, come back to warrior two arms. Shift your body weight forward. And then twist your body so that your right hand is moving towards the floor and your left hand is moving towards the ceiling. Trikonasana, triangle pose. Another breath here. Now bring your left arm down and pivot your back foot towards the front of the mat for pyramid pose on this side. So both of my legs are nearing straight, not totally straight.
My knee replacements are all clicking.
Oh no! Okay, now we're going to step the left foot up to match the right. And just walk your legs out a little bit here. Get them even back up. We'll move into a few balance poses. If you want to have something to lean against, you can move close to a wall or a post if that helps you. Ooh, that got wonky. I don't know what happened. So we're going to move into tree pose first. Everybody knows that one pretty well. So you're going to put your weight into your left foot and just kickstand your right foot onto your left ankle. Okay? Hands at your sides, on your hips, or at your heart. Wherever feels like a good balance point for you, okay? So you can just stay here if you'd like to. You can move that foot up to your calf if you'd like. Or you can move it all the way up to your thigh, if that feels good.
They should put Velcro on your yoga pants or something.
Yeah. Stare at something that's not moving. You can grow your branches if you want. In tree pose. Whatever works for you. And you might find that one side's easier than the other when you switch. And hands back to your heart, right foot down. Okay, so we'll do that on the other side then. So put your weight into your right foot, kickstand your left foot onto your right ankle. Great. Move your foot up to your calf if you'd like. And up to your inner thigh if you'd like. If you'd like to grow your branches, you may. You just stay wherever is comfortable. And hands back to your heart and your left foot down. So let's be sure you have a block somewhere handy, okay? Because we're going to move into a balance pose and you might want to have that handy. First we're going to come into standing splits. Sue, you might want a bigger block than that.
Okay.
That one won't give you much relief. Oops, there you go.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna take a big inhale up, and we're gonna fold forward. Place your hands on the floor, and we're gonna lift our right leg up, and bring our head as close to our left leg as possible. And if you want to rest on your block, that shortens the distance a little bit, so it makes it a little easier to get that stretch in. Standing splits. And if you put the block out sort of on the upper left corner of your mat, sort of away from your foot, you might be able to move into half moon pose, Ardha Chandrasana. Much easier with a block than not. And hands back to the floor. We'll just take a breather here in Uttanasana. Catch your breath. You might want to move your block to the right-hand side of your mat now, because that's what the side we'll be working on. Now lift your left leg up for standing splits. And try to get your head as close to your right knee as you can. Now when you get your block into place, if it's not already, you might be able to open up for half moon pose on this side. So what I'm really doing is opening as much as I can to the side of the mat. My hip is rolled back, my shoulder is back. My breath here. And back to the mat. Feet together. Let's just come into child's pose for a minute and take a breath. And child's pose is a nice resting pose. Your knees are wide, maybe almost as wide as your mat, and your toes are together. And just drop your belly and your chest. Rest your forehead on the mat. Just take a breath or two here. Alright, and when you're ready, just meet me. You can lay right flat on your belly, on your mat, with your forehead resting on the floor. So extend your legs out, lay flat on your belly. Arms are extended out as well, palms down, behind you. There you go, Sue. There you go. Okay, so on an inhale, I want you to lift your head and your shoulders off the mat. Inhale, lift. Inhale, lift your arms. And on the next inhale, lift your feet with your ankles zipped together if you can for locust pose, full locust pose. Take a few breaths here. Engage your core. Keep your ankles together if you can. Exhale all the way down to the mat. And we'll do that one more time. Inhale, lift your head and your shoulders. Next, lift your arms on the next inhale. On the next inhale, lift your feet, which really allows you to lift your shoulders a little more too. So a couple breaths here. And lower all the way down to the mat. Do one more back bend pose here while we're here. Bend your legs and see if you can grab your feet, the outside edges of your feet. Resting on your belly. Perfect. We're going to move into bow pose. So on an inhale, kick your feet into your hands and lift your head and shoulders off the floor. For bow, sort of an upside down back bend. Awesome. Breathe. And lower all the way down. Whew. All right, so we're gonna make make our way onto our backs. You can just flip over if you want to. Be sure you've got your block handy. Just swing your legs around. And we'll do our same routine that seems like we do every week. I need to work on this part. So I've got something new to offer. Bend your knees and place your feet on the floor. Press up and place your block underneath your sacrum for supported bridge pose. Okay. Nice stretch for your lower back, and this may be enough for you. You know, if you've got back problems or you're not used to stretching your back at all, this may be a good place for you to stay. If you want a little more stretch, you can push your hips towards the ceiling. Be sure and walk your shoulders underneath your body as much as you can if you do this. We'll just stay here for a breath or two. One more breath here. And lower back to your block if you had raised your body up. So resting on your block, send your feet towards the ceiling for waterfall pose. If you're near a wall and you want to put your legs up the wall, you can do that for extra support. This is really good for your circulation, so we'll hang out here for just a second. If you're here and you'd like to push up into shoulder stand, you can. And then if you want to move into plow position, you can. That's where you drop your feet back behind your head. And from there, if you want to move into deaf man's pose, you can do that. That's where your knees are either side of your ears. So wherever you are, go ahead and remove your block, especially if you're rolling down from a shoulder stand. And I'll meet you flat on the mat again. Oh, sometimes coming out is as hard as going in. Oh. Take a breath. All right, so bend your left leg and place your foot on the floor. So my left knee is bent, my foot is flat on the floor. I'm going to bring my right ankle to rest on my left knee. So we're in that figure 4 position again, okay? So I'm going to reach through and grab my left leg and pull my legs in a little closer to my body. It's a way of doing pigeon without being on the floor, without having to support your body weight too. So it's a really good stretch for the end of the class. Reclining pigeon. Release that pose. Now bend your right leg with your right foot on the floor. Rest your left ankle on your right knee. And pull your legs in. Just repeating this on the other side. Extend both of your legs out on the mat now. So leaving your left leg extended, squeeze your right knee into your chest. Take a breath here. And then move that right knee up towards your shoulder for a bigger stretch. Now let's move into a twist. So I'm going to take the whole right leg and flop it over the left leg, okay? Keeping my knee bent. Left leg is extended. I'm going to put my arms out in a T shape and look out over my right fingertips. And untwist. And extend that right leg out straight. Now bend your left knee, keeping your right leg straight. And bring that left knee into your chest with a big squeeze. And breathe. Bring that knee in closer to your shoulder. Now, flop your whole left leg over your right body. Extend your arms out to a T. And then look out over your left arm if you can, over your left fingertips. Center. Just squeeze both of your knees into your chest for a nice hug. And thank yourself for showing up today and doing this for yourself.
Thank you.
It's so much easier to stay home and do nothing, right? But you'll feel better after you've done this today. It's a good start to your day.
Yeah.
Okay, now just extend both legs out onto your mat. We'll move into Shavasana now. That's our time of resting and reflection. We'll just take a few minutes here. Think about how grateful we are that this beautiful day showed up for us after all that rain we had and the cold weather and snow for some people. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Gratitude
Gratitude, right.
is the best attitude.
So start to move your body a little bit. Move your fingers and your toes maybe. Roll your head back and forth on your mat a little bit. And whenever you're ready, there is no hurry. You can just meet me back in Sukhasana. Comfortable seat. So we're going to move into Yoga Mudra. We're going to seal in all the good stuff we created today. So bring your hands around behind your back and grab your right wrist with your left hand. And we're just going to tuck our chin and bow forward just a little bit. We're going to reflect on what we talked about at the beginning of class. There's always spring after the winter. There's always joy after the weeping. We're going to think about how grateful we are that we can do this, move our bodies. It's beautiful weather. And we'll come back to seated. Bring our hands together at the heart. And we'll chant Om together one more time. Inhale. Wonderful. The light in me sees and honors and really loves the light in each and every one of you. Thank you so much for coming. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you very much.